Hello, everyone. So think about this for a moment. I'm from a third world country. Things are not looking too good, as you can imagine. There is a communist, corrupt government, which in essence is giving us a crappy economy. The crime rate is off the charts. I'm barely getting by. And sure, there are some beautiful places like beaches, lakes, national parks, you name it. But that is not doing anything for me and my family. In fact, things are so bad that I make the decision to cross around 8 to 9 countries, maybe more, to come to America and seek asylum, which to me sounds more like an economic asylum. But let's say instead of crossing over the border illegally, I actually go through the proper port of entry and seek asylum there, where we all know there is a pretty non-existent vetting system. They are not really going through the criminal background check as they should. They're not checking medical records or financial statements. Then I enter America, and the government there is so dumb that they give me a free hotel stay for a shelter for about 8 to 9 months. So let's say a year, free rent. And I get there, which we all know, they provide free food. But I don't like that food. It's not what I'm used to. And so I go ahead and purchase food outside of the hotel. And then I get a brilliant idea, going on Take Trash to tell everyone that I did have to purchase food outside of the hotel, and it is very expensive, especially because I am with my child and my loved one, and some friends too, who are all staying in that hotel that the stupid government is giving me. But not only that, I go ahead and say that I do want to go back to my country at some point because I love it so much. You see, my country cannot be compared to any country in the world, especially America. But not because my country is so bad that I had to flee. It's because my country is the greatest in the world. And I announce it after getting all of those benefits that the American government is not even giving their own poor citizens. But what do I care? I'm not from here anyway. Well, that's Annabelle's story. This is a Venezuelan migrant. And by the way, I am Venezuelan as well. I told you this so many times, but we definitely do not think alike. Now, I was raised here. Perhaps that is probably why. But needless to say, this is a story that you have to hear it to believe it. So let's get started. Okay, everyone. So Annabelle here is saying, I'm a Venezuelan and I live in America. And I do not judge anyone, but you guys need to understand how much money the migrants spent while staying at the Chester. She calls it the shelter, the Chester. So we'll just do it justice. She says they spent a lot of money on a daily basis on breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I say that because I lived at the Chester for around 8 to 9 months. I don't remember exactly, but I did spend a lot of money eating outside of the Chester on those 3 meals. So she is indirectly telling us that she doesn't like the food at the hotel. Now we know that a lot of them didn't like it or don't like it still. And you remember watching some of those news clips where they were throwing the food in the trash.
This is insane. This is fresh. This is good food. This is bags and bags of food being thrown away.
Workers at the Row Hotel in Midtown say it's a nearly everyday occurrence.
We throw away food that is perfectly fine.
The 1,300-room hotel is being used exclusively as a shelter for migrants, some of whom are seeking asylum.
This is completely sad. This is a waste. We wasted a lot of food.
So I'm not surprised that she is saying that I'm just, once again, tired that these idiots would go on social media to say things like this instead of just keeping it hush and just moving forward. But anyway, so here she's saying, listen to me, you can actually save a lot of money. To the migrants, she's saying, you can save a lot of money by being patient and walk around to find a cheap rent. You will be able to save a lot of money here in America by paying a cheap rent and buying your own groceries instead of eating at restaurants. And all you have to do is be patient and make money. Look, I'm thankful, she says, and we should be thankful. We got here, we were received with open arms. I'm paraphrasing here. She's saying that we were received with great accommodations. And so we have to be thankful, she says. And, well, even though this is not what we wanted for our children and our families, it is not what we wanted. But we have been trying to get through it little by little. And so as we get through this, we can save money and rent our own space. So she's saying, look, we came to a hotel and that's our Chester at the moment before she moved out. I'm guessing she moved out already since she said I lived there for about a year. And so guys, I know that's not what you want for your family, right? But, well, I guess the communist Venezuelan country is much better than living at the Chester in America. But whatever. So yeah, just walk around, be patient, and rent your own spot because the food at the Chester sucks. Again, that's what she's indirectly telling us. Otherwise, why would she buy food outside of the hotel? Therefore, continue saving money, find a cheap place to rent, and buy your own groceries. What a beautiful and genius financial advice. Now, remember that these migrants tend to come in groups. Maybe the grown adult men possibly come by themselves, but I still believe they come with a group of friends, right? Now, when it comes to the women, they are known to come with their children and family members. So I am assuming that perhaps is the reason she spent a lot of money in the restaurants. If you are feeding, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 people every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then indeed you are spending a lot of money, but they didn't have to. They have free meals at the Chester, but it's not too good for them. They're not used to that quality of food. Moving along on this other clip, she says, I'm a Venezuelan living in America, and I will tell you how my second court appearance went. Well, the first one was very simple. They just asked me if I wanted more time to be able to get an attorney. And I said yes. And so, well, that's why we came here to the second court appearance, since I said yes. Well, I want to tell you what you can do if you find yourself in a similar situation, she says to her migrant followers. So I came here without an attorney, okay? And I was worried. Remember, for my first court appearance, I asked for more time to be able to get an attorney, but I didn't get one. And I recently got a notification that my TPS was approved. The TPS, if you don't know, is the temporary protection status. And so last night I got approved, and then today I had to go to court for the asylum case, okay? And so she says, that's why I always say that God is good. God is amazing. I have tremendous faith. And that's why I am always happy with the little or a lot that I have. Okay? So when the judge calls me, I sit down and then he asks if I want more time for an attorney again, and I said yes. And then the judge says that they have a copy of my asylum case, and they asked me if I wanted to get another copy. And I said, no, I already have my own copy. Then he asks if I applied for the TPS, and he said, yes, I did. And he says, well, you have your TPS approved? Do you have your TPS approved for you and your son? And she says, yes. And then when I said yes, his face changed. So he starts to explain to me that now that she has that TPS approved, she can basically cancel her asylum application and just continue with her TPS. She says my attorney had previously told me that I should cancel my asylum case. Now I am guessing she spoke to an attorney sometime between her first court appearance and the second one, being that she just told us a few seconds ago that she didn't have an attorney. But anyway, she says, why? Well, for you to apply for asylum, your case must be believable. You have to have a lot of evidence. And let me tell you, a huge amount of evidence so that they can approve your asylum case. You must possess refutable evidence that you are being or you are going through a political persecution in your country and all of those things. In any event, when the judge asks if I want the TPS or asylum, then the judge says, okay, well, welcome to the United States. Your asylum case has now been closed. And now you will have more time until you get another notification to appear in court or proceed with your TPS application. She says, I am not sure how that works, but my asylum case has now been closed. I no longer have to make another court appearance for the asylum case. And all I got to do is just wait for my TPS documentation. And then later on, I can apply again to extend it for an additional 5 years. That's what the judge said. And the judge himself stood up and gave me the documents and told me that my case has been closed. And there she shows it. And once again, she is thankful and she is telling everyone to do the same if they are in a similar situation. Let me tell you how I got approved with this TPS. When this came out, this opportunity came out to apply, I was one of the first ones to do it. And now look, I finally received it. I moved forward quickly. And the judge did ask me for the TPS approval notice, and I gave it to him, and they made a photocopy of it, and well, thanks God, and here we are. I wanted to share it with you guys. If you go through this similar situation, keep your TPS. Only keep your asylum if you have a lot of evidence that is believable, if you know what I mean. If not, just keep your TPS. Indeed, the TPS is completely legal. That is something that the US government has provided to the Venezuelans and other countries as well. Now, the only issue I have is, why not keep your mouth shut? You know how lucky you are to get such an opportunity and the benefits you are receiving. And what do? Well, you flash it right on the American taxpayer's face. That's my issue with this one. But it doesn't end there. Here on this clip, she is replying to some comments that are criticizing her for an earlier video she posted about a purchase of a motorcycle that she was able to purchase thanks to selling food here in America. I am guessing selling food on the streets. And so she is, some comments were saying, well, if you're so strong and so brave, why don't you stay in Venezuela and do that? I am guessing that in the video she said she was strong and a warrior. I couldn't find the specific video, but you get my drift. Some people took offense and they believe she was insulting Venezuela. So she's saying, look, guys, I will never talk bad about Venezuela. But let's be clear, let's be realistic. You will not be able to sell food on the streets in Venezuela and buy yourself a bike. Okay? That's the reality. I do not think I'm better than anyone. I do not pretend that I have a lot of money, but I am being criticized for selling food here in America and not in Venezuela. And yes, anybody can have a bike in Venezuela and in America, she says, absolutely. But it's not about the bike. What I am telling you guys is that in just 2 weeks of work, with 2 weeks of work, I was able to purchase the bike. And let's be real. If you work 2 weeks in Venezuela selling food, you will not be able to buy a bike. And of course, I love my country. I love my country to an extent that you wouldn't believe. And again, I will never talk bad about my country. But what I want to show you is the reason why I am not in Venezuela. I am not there due to the economic crisis. It is terrible over there. And believe me when I tell you, all of those people in Venezuela deserve better. Of course they do, she says. And you know the elections are coming soon, so everything will get better. And when that happens, all of us, she says, we will come back to our country of origin. All of us, she says, with our chin up, because Venezuela is Venezuela. Venezuela cannot be compared to any country in the world. And here she is talking about where she lived, that there were beaches, and she loves the beaches, and how everything was beautiful over there, and she would do it constantly. And well, she's just bragging about the country. And so she says, I have nothing bad to say about my country. So then she keeps rambling about the stupid bike that she purchased. But you get the main point. She goes from admitting that she will never be able to do what she did here in a couple of weeks in Venezuela to saying that there is no comparison because Venezuela is so great and amazing that she cannot wait to go back. Isn't that surreal? I mean, when I watched that the first time, I was like, wait a minute. So you came here, you get a hotel accommodation for free, where you also are given meals that you don't like, and that's why you went ahead and purchased food outside of it. On top of that, you are given the TPS that gives you your work permit and documentation to be here legally. And you get all of those benefits that you will never get in Venezuela, in your country of origin. And you still say that Venezuela is better than the rest of the world? When you know your own country will not even give you 1% of what you got here. And that's what you say on social media? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then she says she's thankful, right? But think about it. How much of an ungrateful brat do you have to be to say something like that? That Venezuela is the greatest when you're in America after reaping so many benefits. For the record, all of those videos are from the time she was staying at the Chester, okay, that the American government provided to her and her family. But remember, it doesn't matter. America is the third world country in her head. Venezuela is top of the line. Unbelievable. This is the perfect example of when you give someone everything and they don't appreciate it. I wouldn't give them anything upon entering America. Come here and figure it out. And maybe then they would appreciate this country and love this country for the amazing opportunities you have here by working hard and paying your dues. But no, they're just given the free pass and much more than that, as you can tell. Well, guys, thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And again, thank you to my amazing supporters. The shout outs are down below. Please follow me everywhere, and I will see you guys on the next one.